Hello everybody, I'm Storm here. Welcome back to Transport Fever 2. In the last episode, we continued working on our new passenger transport route with our passenger train here. Moving passengers, well, extending it from Cody to Virginia City and then eventually out to Oatman. So we got most of that built in and working. So we need to continue this and wrap it around and get down to Cripple Creek and then over to Tombstone and then figure out what, if anything, we are doing from there. That might be a perfect place for a cable car. Try that again. Well, we'll see. What do we got? More cargo wagons, more locomotives, more passenger wagons, and some more Shinkansen. All right. Now, there was actually a question in the comments, which is actually somewhat interesting. I'll actually pause it up while I discuss this. Because the question was, can you combine passengers or freight into the same train? And yes, you absolutely can. You can put both passenger wagons and cargo wagons on the same train. And you can also put both passenger terminals and cargo terminals in the same station. So, that, in theory, could work. Here's the kicker, though. When a train pulls into a station, it will stop at a terminal. Right? And it will only stop at one terminal at a time. It will either stop at a passenger terminal or a cargo terminal, but not both at the same time. So either you'll have to pull the train into the passenger terminal and on the other way back, pull it into the cargo terminal or something like that, or you'd have to build a station where you customize it so that half the station is passengers and then this half of the station would be cargo, and then it'll stop here and then pull forward and then stop again to do the cargo. You know, theoretically you could make it work. Now there are some issues with that. And it has to do with how prices are charged about, in the way that the game works. So the game determines what prices you earn for when you drop off passengers or cargo based on two things, as far as I understand. The first is the point-to-point straight line distance between the source and the destination. So if we pick up passengers here and deliver them there, it uses this straight line between those 2 points as the distance. It doesn't go along the track, it goes point to point. So the closer you can get your track to being straight between those two spots, the better. This is actually pretty good, all told. It's pretty close. That's why you don't want to have your track snaking back and forth between these 2 points if you can help it, because, it takes you longer. And that's the second thing, is time. The faster that you can get the load, either passengers or cargo, from point A to point B, the more you can charge for it. And that's compared against, as far as I can understand, compared against the expected speed. Or just faster in general. The faster you can do it, the more you'll make. And so if you have both passengers and cargo on the same train, then you're going to lose money on both. Because when you are stopped to pick up passengers, you're not moving the cargo, and when you're stopping to pick up or deliver cargo, you're not moving the passengers, right? And so you don't earn as much as you would if they were dedicated trains. So that's why I don't do it. I keep my passenger and cargo network separate, so that, you know, they interfere with each other as little as possible, and that, you know, they stay dedicated and I earn the most I possibly can on a given route for a given load. I mean, ideally, you would have every single individual, you know, cargo type set into its own, you know, its own dedicated trains. You wouldn't have mixed consists for, you know, cargo either, right? You'd have a train dedicated to moving the iron ore, and then you'd have another train dedicated to moving the coal. Then you'd have another train dedicated to moving the steel, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And they would have, you know, dedicated lines for everything, but that doesn't get, you know, that becomes impractical with the way freight works. And so I do mix my consists for freight, but not between passengers and freight. So that's a long answer to a relatively simple question. So hopefully that made sense. All right, now, next bit of business is figuring out how we're going to get passengers into Cripple Creek. And this is an interesting city layout. It's built basically directly on top of a river. And the first order of business is figuring out where in the world the station is going to be. Well, actually, I think the first order of business is figuring out how in the world we're going to get the train down to that level. And this is why helixes, which are very efficient at getting elevation changes, and helixes and switchbacks, which are necessary for changing elevations, cause you problems because you're spending time in the, you know, changing elevation, and we're not spending time getting from point A to point B, and so you're losing money whenever you do that. But, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. And so we gotta do what we gotta do, and we gotta figure out where this is gonna go. Alright. Well, we need to start heading down as aggressively as possible. And I think that this train is going to be spending a lot of time underground in this. Alright, let's get it out to here. I'd like this to merge over before it hits the tunnel. All right, and can I get a turn that is fast enough, gets down far enough, that'd be a 40-mile-an-hour curve. I don't think there is any choice. Because either we're doing a helix, we're doing it this. So we slow down for a little bit, right? We hit the curve, and then we can accelerate out of the curve and head toward the city. That would be the plan. And so we spend as little time in the slow section as possible. That's the theory anyway. Now, I'm gonna pause it here for a minute because I want to see like what kind of speeds we could potentially get by trying to avoid building a bridge or a tunnel. Not so good. Not so good at all. Well, let's just put it in and let's see what it does. And then this is where we would come down. But we're looking at, like, what kind of speeds? 50s, 60s, 50s. But here's the thing. I have $2.3 billion in the bank. So building a ridiculous bridge is not entirely outside the realm of possibility here. So, what will we get with a ridiculous bridge? That's an interesting bridge. Will we use that type of bridge there? Or we use that somewhere else, more like a river crossing. And use something a little bit more mundane. One thing about these bridge types is sometimes they distribute their pillars in weird ways. Like, you got these two pillars, and then we have this large gap with no pillar. And it just looks weird. And it's not really fast enough anyway. Oh. Boo. We want it to be maximum speed if at all possible. Pillarless is not something we necessarily are going to be able to do. 224. That's not bad. A little faster would be nice. 224. 224. I think the 224 is probably our best bet. And that's what? 6.2 million? It's not bad. And we would just kind of come in like over here. And we would put in our station there, and then what we could do is we could then snake the train around that direction. Yep, I think that's going to be the plan. Okay. So, let's get the roads torn out. Yeah, I'm rip all this out. Okay. Probably a little excessive, but it works. High speed, 2 tracks. We might need to make this a little bit of a shorter station. But that's okay. It should be fine. As long as we don't put our crossovers too close together, then we'll be fine. Because those will... Or just not put any crossovers on this particular train, or station. Anyway. Well, we'll need one at least to start with. Okay. Let's drop this in right about there. Okay. And then we'll put in tracks. Okay, so which track are you? You are going to be that track. Okay. Now, I don't think that's too ridiculous for a using earthworks instead of yeah, instead of a bridge. Here's the thing. I probably need to put our crossover in the tunnel. Not my preference, but, you know, it is what it is. Drop that in there. Too much curvature. What are you talking about? There we go. Alright, get the signals laid out. Actually, let's go ahead and signal right about there as well. And then as they emerge from that curve. There we go. There might be a slow train in there, and, you know, I'd like to have it stop if it needs to and wait. All right. So, for this city connection, I think what we're going to do is, for the moment, grab this. Climb this little hill. And then connect in. It'll work. All right. Now, figuring out what the tram path is going to be is going to be interesting. Oh. I probably am going to need to tear out this road too. work very well, does it? Okay. We won't tear that out necessarily. All right. So let's upgrade that. Upgrade this. Upgrade. Too much slope. Really? Yep. Pretty much remodeling most of this city. All right. See, here's what I want to do. Let's get this bit of straight in. There we go. And then we'll need to back that up a little bit. As long as we don't damage the core of the city too much, it'll be fine. It'll all grow back in. Let's tear that little bit out right there. All right, there we go. So, what we'll probably do is take that over to there and then upgrade that bit of road. Okay. And then this will come through there and connect to there. All right. Can that connect to this? No. If we snake it around a little bit, do some switchbacks. I can connect it there, but that's as far as it will go. Okay. Have a little bit where the trams will be going both directions, and that's all right. Okay. And then we'll put a tunnel in to connect those two bits. All right, good. Let's get in there and smooth this off a little bit. Make that look a little bit more reasonable. Okay. Here we are. Okay, so we're going to put the tram in. Okay, there we go. That's going to be the tram system. You're gonna go this way. Let's see. Does that include all that? Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so you will include all of this. Stop there. Stop there. stop there. All right. That should do. What I could actually do is yeah, I don't think there's any point to putting a stop over here. So what we'll do is we'll just put a stop going this way and make that a bi-directional. After 2nd Street, we can stop at Elm Street again. All right. And so this is the tram for Cripple Creek. Tram, not tramp. There we go. Depot. Let's put 4 of these Skodas. On there. All right, and then you manage your line after Oatman. Hit that station. Then we hit Oatman on the way back. On the other terminal. There we... No. You're going to be on 2. You are going to be on 1. That's correct. Okay. Now, this train. I think we are already out doing this train. Let's manage the vehicle. Let's replace it with something. I'd like it to be fast. $137 mph, 87 horsepower, class 101. That seems fast. Express coaches. Amfleet. These are all Amtrak stuff. Now, is there like an Amtrak electric? 6,900 horsepower. Does 125. Phase 5. And the helper? I don't think we're ready to go with a helper just yet, but let's go with Phase 4A. $126 capacity. Now, if I put the helper on there, it'll probably be too expensive. I'll wait to put the helper on until it's actually making some money. We're actually going to duplicate it. I'm going to put 2 of those trains on there and see what that does. Because hopefully this will be a big passenger route. I mean, we're already getting some decent passengers showing up. That would be good. How many passengers do we have showing up in Durango for that route? Not bad. Not bad, all told. Yes, that should be good. One other project we're going to have to do is go back to all of our old routes and reevaluate, upgrade, replace, things like that. Go look at the trams, make sure the trams are upgraded. That's going to be a big project. Alright, but I think for today we are at the end of the episode, so we'll go ahead and stop here. Next episode we'll extend this over to Tombstone. Figure out how we're going to connect that to Tombstone. Maybe set up like a bus or something to connect it to Deadwood. And, looks like Deadwood needs a tram extension. And then we'll see what we're going to do from there. So we've got, let's see, cities that need passenger connections after we finish. So we'll get Tombstone connected, and then Silverton's gonna need passengers. South Pass, Bodie. Animus Forks. El Monte. And I think that's it as far as passengers are concerned. And then we just have a bunch of freight hubs and connections to start establishing. And, yeah, that should work. Alright, but for now, as I said, we'll stop here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.